The transmission came in fractured shards of static wrapped around a single calm voice. "They're here. Gates unmanned. One of ours stayed behind. He asked for 3 minutes. That's all." Then the feed cut. No screaming, no explosions, just silence. The diplomatic outpost on Dalcora sat on the edge of a wide, wind-scoured valley, built jointly by 5 major species. It was considered neutral ground, untouchable, unimportant, safe, until today. A black box ping from a Terran channel reached the Galactic Council within minutes. Attached was a security feed, time-stamped, unaltered. The footage began. The outer gate stood open. A cracked perimeter wall bled steam into the cold. The valley beyond was blanketed in fog-thick, slow-moving, unnaturally still. Floodlights struggled to penetrate it. In the center of the frame stood a single human, 6 feet tall, fully armored in matte black plating, helmet sealed, no insignia, no visible weapons. He didn't move, just stood there at his feet, a small rectangular device blinking with a soft red light, a timer ticking. "Where are the others?" A Krell observer hissed, rewinding the footage. "Escaped. You can see the emergency shuttle lifting off in the background." An analyst replied. In the upper left corner of the footage, a shape rose into the sky. A civilian craft, slow, vulnerable, but untouched. Whoever attacked the outpost hadn't come to kill civilians. They came for the base itself, and that gate, minute 0:15. The fog stirred. It wasn't wind, it was something moving inside it. Fast fluid. Shapes slid through the mist, like predators through water. Angular limbs, rippled cloaking fields. The KAR Nix. Ancient enemies, thought extinct after the Hadean purge. Stealth warriors bred for one thing: infiltration and massacre. They hadn't been seen in over 80 cycles, until now. Minute 0:42, the humans still didn't move. A Karnak scout appeared on the edge of the floodlights, barely more than a shimmering outline. Its long limbs bent unnaturally as it studied the lone sentry. A faint hum vibrated through the air. The human shifted, not a full step, just a tilt of the head, subtle, deliberate. Minute 1:07, the Karniks charged. Not one welf. They erupted from the fog with impossible speed. Energy blades drawn, claws outstretched. No war cry. No warning. The human moved. The timer blinked red. The footage, glitchED. 1 second, the attackers were closing in. NXT, static, blood mist, sparks. Then, stillness again. 9 Karniks lay crumpled in the dirt, their bodies folded in unnatural shapes. No sound, no visible impact weapons. The human stood in the same spot. Only his breathing had changed faster now, audible through the helmet's mic feed. Minute 2:13, 3 more Karniks emerged, this time cloaked more thoroughly, moving between frames. Like flickers of shadow. They didn't charge, they crept. The human turned his head slightly like he could hear them. He stepped away from the gate for the first time. Not toward them. He turned his back. Minute 2:58, the last frame. The human stood with his back to the camera, timer in hand, shoulders rising and falling. The Karniks were gone. The valley was silent. Time stomp, PYD. The video ended. No further footage, no sound, no explanation. Across the Galactic Council chamber. Silence fell heavier than gravity. A Zelari admiral leaned forward and spoke the question everyone feared to ask. What happens if he's still alive? The council demanded answers. In a sealed analysis chamber, aboard the orbiting Ark ship, 9 Axis Grace, the footage was played for the 15th time. Still no sound. Still that same final moment, 2:59 to 93 before the entire outpost transmission went dead. 3 minutes, said Marshal Vero of the Solari Command. No artillery, no orbital support, just him. Not a squad, added High Counselor Jadal, her tendrils twitching nervously. Not even drones. Why leave only a human? No one answered. The question hung like smoke. Instead, they played the secondary file recovered from emergency telemetry sent milliseconds before blackout. It didn't show the fight. It showed the aftermath begin footage. The fog had cleared. The outpost gate remained open. A low wind dragged dust through the remains. There were bodies not human. 12 Karnix elites lay dead within a 40-meter radius. Not blasted or burned, but cut, shattered, broken at the joints with surgical precision. What was worse, no blood. Their armor had ruptured, but something had cauterized them from the inside out. No weapon the analysts could identify. No known Terran tech. In the center, where the human had stood, the timer lay cracked in half, still blinking red, frozen forever on the number, 3 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. Then the audio anomaly started. Not a voice, a rhythm. Deep in the transmission's low band. A pulse pattern thudded like a heartbeat. Intermittent. Wrong. One of the analysts isolated it, ran it against known frequencies. It wasn't communication. It was brainwave bleed, the human's neural pattern. He was syncing with something during the fight, said the analyst, barely whispering. Something. Not from this century. The council turned to the Terran ambassador. He hadn't spoken once since the briefing began. Just sat there in that too dark suit, unmoving, arms crossed. You left one guard? Jadal repeated, trembling, against an ancient war species. Why? He met her eyes calmly. Because we only needed one. Across the galaxy, a separate investigation launched into the outpost ruins. Only one recovery team dared set foot on Dalcora's surface. They brought drones, or suited mechs. Surveillance swarms. Every precaution, and yet, only one thing was found among the ashes of the command chamber. A sealed file, logged on a Terran dead drop server. File name, EREBUS-response-PROT-1.93 password-locked. Encrypted, with a neural key. Human-only access. One of the investigators of Varrock Techodept bypassed the block using a cracked Terran symphony mapping algorithm. The file opened. One line of text appeared. What he did wasn't war. It was what we trained for when war fails. And beneath it, a single image, not of the human, of the Karnix warlord's colonics, whose name had haunted 5-star systems, his skull cracked in two, placed neatly on a pile of burning cloaks, a Terran combat knife stabbed between the eyes. 3 minutes. No one knew the guard's name yet. No one knew how he fought, or what he used, or how many more like him existed. But in the dark chambers of the Karnix remnant fleet, what few survivors still haunted the edges of known space, a message pulsed through their blood-linked channels, a warning, not in words, but in emotion, terror, and one image sent to all their war captains, with coordinates to Dalcora, and a single glyph, translated from human tongue. He's still there. You are not authorized to know his name. You are not authorized to speak to him. You are to find the body, retrieve the black box, and exfil within 6 minutes of planetfall. The voice over the dropship comms was ice cold, AI directive stitched into Terran command protocol. Squad? Alpha didn't flinch. They were ghosts. Humans bred for recovery missions that had no success rate, no media, no records. Just the job. Commander Miles exhaled slowly, letting his visor tint against the violent glow of Dalcora's lower atmosphere. The wind outside screamed like something dying. Repeat final orders, the AI demanded. Land, locate, retrieve, don't ask, Miles muttered. Correct. The retrieval ship, DR-47, dropped low between shattered spires of obsidian rock. Following the exact trajectory the Karnix fleet had entered and failed to leave. Below, the outpost ruins. Dead power coils hissed with residual charge, melted. Metal glistened in morning frost. Nothing moved, except The fog dot still there, clinging to the gate like it never left. Something's jamming our sensors, said tech specialist Rena, voice tight. That's not a jammer, murmured Miles. That's ambient terror. Our systems can feel what happened here. 0 hours, 1 minute, and 43 seconds. After landing, the squad spread out in a diamond formation. 4 operators, bio-sealed suits, anti-cloak optics humming. All channels went silent by protocol. Only gesture signals. Rena reached the perimeter gate first, and stopped. A single Terran combat knife stood, embedded in the ground. Clean, upright, no blood, etched along the blade's length. Not gone. She waved Miles over. His visor scanned. The knife? Temperature, ambient. No heat signature. Metal, steel core, with something layered beneath. Organic, like bone. You're gonna want to see this, she whispered. 0 hours, 2 minutes, and 27 seconds. The gate door creaked open under Miles' touch. Not power sealed, not locked, just waiting. Inside, the walls were scorched with claw marks and burned shadows. One particularly large smear stretched across the ceiling like something had been dragged. While still alive, Miles paused. Something's wrong. Rena frowned. Everything's wrong. He shook his head. No. Listen, you hear that? The others froze. Nothing. Absolute silence. Not just quiet. No wind. No static. No internal suit noise. The kind of silence that presses against your lungs, like it wants you to stop breathing. 0 hours, 3 minutes, and 3 seconds. Operator Vix entered the old command chamber. His boots crunched on glass and twisted data pads. He aimed his flashlight at the far wall. There, scrawled in a dark hand, not ink, not blood, was a message. He gave us 3 minutes. Below it, now we give him time. Then, motion, something, blurred past the edge of the light. Too fast, too low. 00:03:12 Vix dropped. His visor feed went black. Heart. Signal-FLATLIN. The rest of the squad whipped around, weapons hot, scanning. Nothing, just that damn fog. Now seeping through cracks in the ceiling, curling around their feet like fingers. Evac, now, Miles snapped. But now, 0 hours, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Rena sprinted toward the Exedenly to stop dead as her HUD picked up something ahead. A figure. Standing. Exactly where the knife had been. Tall, still, black armor, helmet on. The human, no weapon drawn, just watching. Her voice cracked. Over the comes, sir. He's alive. That's not possible, Miles whispered. What do we do? The figure turned its head toward her, paused, then slowly raised one hand, not in threat, in warning, and pointed behind her. She turned. The fog boiled upward, forming shapes, spindly, crooked, Carnix, hundreds, and at the front of them, a new form, larger, faster, smiling. 0 hours, 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Rena stared into the mist as figures coalesced, blurred shapes twitching unnaturally, heads tilting at angles that betrayed no bone, no spine, just hunger. The Carnix were advancing, but not toward her. They were circling, forming a loose perimeter around the Terran standing by the gate. Like predators, trapped in the cage with something worse. Commander Rena whispered, "Something's wrong. They're not attacking. Get back to the ship, now. I'm not the target. He is." From her position, she saw the man's hand fall slowly to his side. No weapon drawn, no threat given. And yet the Carnix kept their distance, except for one. A larger figure emerged from the mist, its body cloaked in shimmering heat-skin black, like onyx, arms too long, legs reverse-jointed, twin jaws flexing outward. It hissed once. The others bowed their heads. Rena's HUD marked it as unknown. Height, 9 feet 2. Mass, uncertain. ID, skull 2. Not possible. "The warlord's dead," she said aloud. "You sure?" Miles answered grimly. Because it looks like they brought something back. 0 hours, 4 minutes and 23 seconds, Skull2 moved toward the humans. Deliberate steps through broken concrete and smoke. Still the man didn't move. Then Skull2 spoke, not with sound, not in language, but in pulse. A ripple of psychic pressure smashed outward. Rena staggered. Her nose bled. The air screamed without noise, even through armor. She felt it. The challenge. The human finally turned. For the first time in the footage. His helmet hissed plates, unlocking, seals venting, and it opened. He lifted it off slowly, revealing a face. Young, calm, scar across the cheek, eyes black as vacuum, but not empty. Full, like he was seeing everything at once. He looked at the Karnix leader and whispered one word. The helmet's mic barely caught it. No. The Karnix hissed louder now, agitation turning into frenzy. They wanted him to fight, but he wasn't rising to the bait. Instead, the man dropped the helmet at his feet, then reached behind him and pulled out. Nothing. His hands were empty. Yet Rena's HUD screamed a warning. Mass energy spike detected source. Undefined 0 hours, 4 minutes and 46 seconds. The fog recoiled. Literally pulled away from the man like it was afraid. And then the sound came. Not from the Karnix, from the ground. A low rumble. Mechanical. Rhythmic. Footsteps. Behind. Rena. Behind Miles. Behind every squad member still alive. The retrieval team turned their scopes. Outward and froze figures were walking across the valley. Terrans. Armored. Silent. Half-dash. Glimpsed. One. By one they emerged from the rock itself, stepping through seams in the air that hadn't existed seconds before. 7 of them, each unarmed, each staring straight at the Karnix warband with absolute, clinical detachment. Miles' voice was hoarse. That wasn't a guard. It was a signal, Rena whispered. A beacon. They didn't leave him behind. They deployed him. 0 hours, 5 minutes and 21 seconds, Skull2 screamed. The Karnix charged, and the valley changed. No fire, no bullets, no shockwaves, just absence. Karnix vanished mid-stride, their forms erased like mist under sunlight. One blink they were there, then gone. Wiped. Clean. Not vaporized. Extracted. The man stood still. The 7 behind him advanced. Like surgeons, deliberate, wordless, terrifying. Miles come crackled. Alpha, evacuate. You're no longer part of this theater, under whose authority? Miles snapped. A pause. Then the voice came, this time human, calm, cold. Final protocol, Erebus, tier black. Clearance level doesn't exist. 0 hours, 5 minutes and 22 seconds. The fog wasn't fogged out. It screamed, silent and wrong. Like reality itself had been rewound and forced to watch what came next. The Karnix had charged. 40 warriors, for battle-bred Levihans. Now, there were none, not bodies, not ash, just the faint hiss of displacement scars, jagged rips in the dirt, where the laws of physics had politely stepped aside, and in the center, the Terran stood unmoving, his unarmed silhouette casting no shadow, his eyes still locked on the place Skull2 had stood. Before he vanished, Rena dropped to her knees, not in fear, in understanding. 00:05:2, 8 miles, COMM crackled again. Evac VTOLs inbound in 90 seconds. Alpha Team, extract immediately. We're not cleared to witness Tier Black protocol, he muttered. Correct. And if you stay, you'll be reclassified as expendable observers. What the hell is Tier Black? A new voice cut in. No AI, no military code, just calm, human articulation. Erebus is not a who, Erebus is a when. Back on the Ark ship Nanoxi's Grace, every feed from the retrieval team began to distort. Cameras failed. Neural links burned out. Only one feed remained, A single satellite drone with hardened Terran encryption, orbiting exactly 102 miles above. Dal-Cora, and even it could only render static outlines. 7 humanoid heat signatures surrounded the Terran operator. Their bodies were wrong armor, moving like it breathed. Outlines flickering between quantum states. One moved its hand 5 fingers each, twitch, causing ripples in the terrain below. The dirt bent toward it like a magnet. Another simply pointed at a cliff face, and the cliff ceased to exist. No collapse, no sound, unmade. That 00:05:49, Rena stumbled backwards, watching what was once the Karnak's warfront become less than zero. Sir, she whispered, we're not supposed to see this. Miles nodded slowly, and yet here we are. What are they? The voice behind them answered, not from not from the sky, but from within. A man now stood, 10 feet away. Not one of the 7. Not the original guard. Someone else entirely. Clothed in matte black formal wear. No helmet. No gear. And eyes like cracked glass. They're not what we send to war, he said softly. They're what we send when war breaks. 0 hours, 6 minutes, and 1 second. Rena's breathing hitched. You deployed Erebus on a recovery mission. The man's head tilted. You misunderstand. Erebus wasn't deployed. He awakened. Miles raised his rifle instinctively. The man didn't blink. Shoot me, and you'll find out what 15 seconds looks like when slowed to infinity. His voice never rose. It didn't need to. You think this is about the Karnaks. This is about containment. Of what? Miles snapped. Of memory. In orbit. The drone tried to lock onto the Erebus operator. Failed. Tried again. Failed. It recorded only 1 frame before its core. Overheated. Frame now immortalized. In black site databases. The human's eyes were glowing. Not bright. Not warm. Dark. Like. They'd looked at the center of a dying star and blinked second. A caption auto-generated below. Warning. Observation beyond this point will corrupt level 9. Eyes. 0 hours, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Rena and Miles sprinted back to the evac zone. Above. 2 VTOLs descended and marked. Silent. Cloaked in mirror skin. As the bay doors opened, another voice transmitted. A whisper. The guard's voice. You came for the black box. Rena froze. She turned back. The Terran stood alone again. No fog. No KAR nix. Just silence. He held the black box out toward her. Take it. Then leave. She stepped forward, took it with shaking hands. What happens if we open it? He turned his head slightly. You won't. Why not? His eyes locked on hers. Because it remembers what I did. The room was underground, somewhere below Greenland's ice shelf. No windows, no clocks, just white lights and walls that hummed like they were holding something in. Rena stood outside the observation glass, her palms sweating inside her gloves. The box sat on a plinth in the center of the chamber, matte black, seamless, humming softly like a heartbeat beneath the silence. Commander Miles stood beside her. Neither of them had spoken since the debrief. You feel that? He murmured. Rena nodded, like it's watching. 2 scientists in armored hazoots approached the box, escorted by 2 Erebus protocol officers, faceless, non-responsive to any conversation. Not Terran military, not Terran anything, just present. Dr. Hori, lead researcher, lifted a trembling hand. Begin extraction of memory core. Her assistant hesitated. Ma'am, our own data says it shouldn't exist inside of physical housing, and yet it does. How? Ask it when it opens. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second since engagement with the black boxes, soon as the instruments touched the surface. The room changed, the lights dimmed, the air compressed, and something moved inside the box without, opening a ripple, like heat on asphalt. Every monitor around the room blinked red, then black. Then one word appeared across all screens, in languages both human and not. Remember, elsewhere, on the moon, the AI, known as Oracle X, the most advanced quantum intelligence ever created, was monitoring the black site data feeds. As soon as the word appeared, it paused all activity and said, to no one in particular, he warned them. Then it shut itself down permanently. 00:00:15. The top of the black box peeled back like silk, not metal. No hinges, no sound. Inside, there was no memory drive, no chip, no digital architecture. Just a single grain of dark matter suspended in a fluid no sensor could identify, wrapped in light that bent in unnatural curves. Dr. Hori staggered back. That's not a core. Her voice dropped to a whisper. It's a piece of him. Across the observation glass, Rena's ears started bleeding. Make it stop, she whispered. It's speaking. It's not saying anything, Miles said, but his own hands were shaking, because he heard it too. A voice in their minds, not words, just images. Flash after flash, a Carnix dreadnought splitting in half without fire, an Erebus operator standing in a collapsing city, untouched, a weapon made from no known material, humming in a man's spine. The fog, not following him, but originating from him, and behind it all, the gate. An impossible structure, buried in Terran soil, sealed and locked for centuries, and something on the other side waiting. The grain of dark matter began to spin, slowly. A vortex formed above it, pulling, not air, but light itself downward. The Erebus officer stepped forward at once, raising hands not in defense but in containment. Seal the chamber, one said. Initiate memory lock, said the other. All footage beyond this point will be classified non-existent. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 32 seconds. The black box pulsed once, and every sensor in the building died. Then came the final flash, a frozen image, broadcast to every deep space. Terran satellite in one burst, the Erebus guard from Dalcora, standing alone in front of an open gate behind him, not Carnix, not Terran, something older. Tyrant smiling. The message that came with it was just for words. He opened it first. The room sealed. All files locked under protocol. Erebus, Rena, and Miles were escorted out in silence. As the elevator rose toward the surface, Miles finally spoke. We retrieved the box. Rena didn't look at him. No, we delivered it. 0 hours, 3 minutes, and 0 seconds since black box activation. Location: Earth, Greenland, black site, Thetan 9, surface level above ground. The snowstorm had stopped. Not died down, stopped, frozen midair like a paused video. The clouds above had formed a perfect ring, directly over the site. Rena stood at the edge of the pad, staring upward in silence. The sky looked too wide. What's happening? She whispered. Miles raised a hand. Feel that? No wind, no sound, just a pressure, like standing too close to a large speaker, with the volume turned all the way down. Then the ground trembled, only once, but it wasn't a quake. It was a heartbeat. 0 hours, 5 minutes, and 16 seconds. Terranet broadcast interruption, unscheduled. Signal across thousands of secure Terran military feeds. A brief pulse overrode all systems. One image appeared, a circular gate, buried in Earth's crust, ancient, mechanical, carved in symbols no human had written in 100,000 years. And then a voice. Not human, not Carnix. Something deeper, not loud, not angry, just disappointed. You remembered too early. Then silence, and then the coordinates, exact coordinates of the gate. Not just Earth, there were others. Mars, Titan, Europa, Lyton Prime, and deep beneath, Dalcora's crust. 0 hours, 6 minutes, and 0 seconds. Location: Dalcora Carnix wreckage, Site Carnix, scavenger. Team arrived late. Long after the Erebus incident, they found nothing but glassified soil, except for one thing, a crater, and at its centaura. Ring. 10 meters wide. Not metal, not stone, responding. Their team lead leaned closer. Did the humans build this? The ring, HUMMED. And without warning, opened, not inward, not outward, downward, like folding time and space into a drain. One scavenger screamed. Before being pulled inside, he didn't fall, he inverted. The ring closed, left nothing but a smell of rusted memory. 0 hours, 7 minutes and 31 seconds. Location: Black Site, Thetan 9, Core Containment, Florina. Miles and Dr. Hori had been evacuated to a mobile command unit. But before they could clear the perimeter, all three received a direct override on their implants. A burst transmission. No origin traceable. A message displayed across their vision. Don't run. You are witnesses. It requires witnesses. 0 hours, 8 minutes, and 12 seconds. Deep Earth. Site, Arab 1. The gate opened. It didn't break through the ground. The earth simply parted as if it had always been there. And waiting at its edge was him, the human guard, still wearing his black armor, still silent. But this time, his face was visible, and he was crying. You weren't supposed to open it yet, he whispered. But now that you have, he turned toward the global feed, somehow broadcasting directly through forbidden satellite locks. You think this is a war? That Earth was spared because we were strong? He shook his head. We were spared because we agreed. Behind him, the gate shimmered. Shapes moved beyond it. Unfathomable. Tall, skeletal things of shifting color and angles that hurt to look at. We gave them a promise. Centuries ago. He looked directly into the camera. One gate opens. If one Terran remembers, I remember. 0 hours, 9 minutes and 1 second. Every gate across the system began to power up. On Mars, red sand lifted like mist. On Titan, methane seas boiled in perfect circles. On Europa, buried oceans screamed in sonar. And from Earth, the gate at Site Erebon shone brighter than the sun. Rena fell to her knees, watching the feed through blurred eyes. What did he promise? She whispered. Miles didn't speak. He already knew. 0 hours, 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Location: Earth Site EREB-1. The gate was no longer opening. It was awake. Above it, the sky peeled like old paint stars rearranged, forming a geometry no telescope could track. The world did not end with fire or invasion. It ended with recognition. The kind that made the planet feel like an exposed nerve in the dark. The human guard stepped forward. His name was still unknown, his rank stripped. But now, across every military channel, his voice echoed in perfect calm. Earth broke the pact. The Karnics triggered the first breach. But we responded. And that was the mistake. He paused, looking back at the shimmering void behind him. Shapes moved, not approaching, not threatening, just waiting. They didn't hide us because we were strong. They hid us because we were unfinished. In orbit, Earth's defense satellites armed themselves. Every protocol kicked in mass accelerators, plasma rings, fail-safe kinetic rods. It didn't matter. The void didn't block weapons. It ignored them. All signals sent into the gate simply vanished. No impact. No return, pinged out like yelling into a mirror that refused to echo. Rena stood in the command unit, breath ragged, heart screaming in her chest. She knew what came next. Miles had a secure line open to Terra Command. We still have the Erebus operator, someone barked. Extract him. Bring him in. Interrogate. No, Rena said, barely above a whisper. You don't extract. A key. You turn it. La 0-11-21. The human guard raised both hands and whispered a word never spoken before on any human frequency. The gates across all colonies froze. The void stilled. The color bled from the sky. Every creature, soldier, child, prisoner, King every being who had once seen the stars felt, a thought pressed gently into their mind. Return to silence. And they did. Every gate collapsed inward. Every satellite feed went dark. Across all channels. Across the whole solar system. Total silence. 0 hours, 12 minutes, and 0 seconds. Final transmission logged from site. Arib 1. The screen flickered. One final image. The human guard kneeling before the gate. Armor cracked. Hands folded. Eyes closed. He looked peaceful. Behind him. The void folded closed like a curtain of dusk. The gate became stone once more. No sound, no light, no fury, just the stillness of a promise fulfilled. 1 hour later, every recording of the event had been wiped, every broadcast scrambled, every witness quarantined, under protocol EREBUS-0. But deep beneath Terra's polar crust, hidden behind locked layers of encryption, one file remained. No metadata. No time. Stamp, just a name. The guard. Silence was the price. One remembered. The rest must forget. Epilograna left service 6 months later. She never spoke of what happened. She never dreamed, either, because something deeper than memory had been taken. Not erased, just stored. In silence. Somewhere far from Earth, in the ruins of Dalcora, a Karnak's child wandered too far from the recovery camp. He found a smooth ring half buried in the ground. He reached out, not afraid, and for a heartbeat. He remembered something, but it vanished just as quickly, like a dream you can't hold on to.